And we're live for our last show of the semester.
Yep.
That's crazy.
15 weeks went by so fast.
Was it actually? Was that
Yeah.
our spring semester?
Spring semester was 15 weeks, but I don't think we were here every 15 because
We weren't here for like the first 3 weeks, I feel like.
that, and then also with breaks and everything.
Yeah. Wow. So I feel like from Kanye to Trisha Paytas to now our final of the semester, who we're very excited to talk about, Alexandra Cooper.
Woo!
Alex Cooper is best known for being the host of the popular podcast Call Her Daddy, which is an explicit podcast. We're not going to go into the details of what her show's about, but if you are over 18, it's for you. But before the now 27-year-old was making headlines for drama with Barstool Sports and even TikTok influencers, she was a small town girl. She was born August 21st, 1994, and grew up in Newtown, Pennsylvania. She was raised by her parents, Brian and Lori Cooper, along with two siblings, sister Catherine and brother Grant. But it didn't take long for Alex to find a way out of her familiar home. Alex attended Pennington High School in Pennsylvania. She was a good student and an excellent athlete, which would help her get into Boston University with a nice scholarship. Cooper went to college after graduating senior year. There, the future podcast star played soccer as a Division I athlete. The schedule was rigorous, and Alex dedicated much of her time to practicing games, even attending annual championships. When Cooper wasn't playing or studying, she was usually partying.
Yep.
But attending Boston University was more than a social or athletic experiment. Alex also discovered some of her professional passions while studying there. Cooper was especially interested in the world of media and entertainment, so she chose to major in that area. She majored in film and television during her time at the school. After 4 years of studying hard, playing soccer, and partying, Cooper finally graduated in May 2017. She was soon on to bigger and better things and a whirlwind rise to internet fame. So we're gonna get in. Maybe Call Her Daddy came about in 2018. I think was when Barstool kind of picked him up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first listened, I was 16, so probably shouldn't have been listening to it. But although they talk about her partying and like whatever, and she talks about not so much soccer stuff on the podcast.
Yeah.
She definitely kind of like spoke to me in a way of like, hey, I was a Division I athlete and I did all this stuff and now I'm working for Barstool in the city. And I was like, I want to do that.
That should be me.
I want to play a sport in college and I want to be with the athletes and then I want to go work in the city for Barstool. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Your inspiration.
In a way. In a weird way, yeah. I don't think I would talk about the stuff that she talks about.
Yeah.
But have you ever like...
Yeah, so I actually started listening to her podcast. I think I was 17 going on 18 because I used to listen to it on my drives to work because they were good 45-minute drives. So I was like, all right, fill my time. Definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe not even. I was trying to... Yeah, I had to be 17. But interesting stuff. Once again, if 18 or older.
Definitely. It should say that, probably. Yeah. It might now, but...
It was definitely hilarious, though.
Yeah, I personally think that she has grown her platform in such a way that is more now. So, like, it's more... I prefer what she talks about now and what she does than when she was with her co-host.
When she first started.
Personally, I think when she was with Sophia Franklin, it was kind of childish and like almost like mean girl gossipy instead of sit down interviews with cool people like Miley Cyrus.
That was cool.
Like, yeah, those are the type of things that I'd rather see than have two girls screaming in microphones like, "Oh my god, this baseball player on the Yankees." Like, I don't know.
Literally.
I don't know.
So, after graduating from Boston University, Alex was once again on to bigger and better things, more specifically, the Big Apple. The college grad went to New York City to officially start adulting. Not long after the big move, Cooper made headlines for a new romance. Alex was spotted kissing pro baseball star Noah Syndergaard? All right. At a Knicks ball game. Syndergaard was a player for the New York Mets, and his relationship with New York City's latest arrival made waves in the gossip columns. But Cooper would soon meet another special someone. Alex's relationship with the New York Mets player eventually fizzled out, but she didn't spend too much time mourning the loss. There was plenty of fish in the sea, after all. And it was around this time that Cooper met someone else who would change her life forever. About a year after graduating from Boston, a mutual friend introduced Alex to Sophia Franklin. The two girls hit it off right away. Alex and Sophia took some time away from the Big Apple for a little vacay in good old Texas. But it was a conversation during that vacation that ultimately led the new pals to take a professional leap together. The two women were out one night when they started having a very open conversation about anything and everything related to dating culture, the good, the bad, and the worst. Ideas started turning in the two friends' heads. At the time, Alex was jobless and already creating a lot of content on her own. She said, "I was on unemployment checks. I didn't have a job," she explained. "I was just vlogging and trying to make it on YouTube." And then the pieces started falling together. My friend who had just started at a startup reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Alex, do you want to do a podcast?" Cooper detailed. So I bring Sophia along. I'm like, "Yep, we're going to do a show. No idea what it's going to be yet." Alex didn't know it, but this would turn out to be her biggest career move so far. She and Sophia sat down and just started chatting away about all the things that they always enjoyed talking about. This including men, dating, romance, and hookup culture. This is when Call Her Daddy was born. So, what do you have to say?
I mean, it's a cute story how it started. It's like every like movie scenario.
Yeah.
I feel like
The girls meet, they become
my
best friends.
besties, and then surprise, my friend has a startup and we're gonna have a show. Like, I mean,
Aw.
pieces really did fall into place for them, which is so great.
It is really great for Alex because she ended up getting her little baby.
Her platform,
Yeah.
And I have seen some of her YouTube videos. They were okay. They were, just targeting the audience, the type of people that were watching YouTube videos at the time.
Yeah.
So going back to 2018.
I feel like her
vlogging.
talking to a mic is really good. Like she really that's where she belongs.
Yeah.
And like she's really good with her interviews.
I think she's good. Yeah. I mean, she did major in it, so I'd hope she'd be good. But
True.
But there was definitely I'm probably going to say it multiple times throughout this episode that there was a big difference between her and Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no surprise that Sophia did what she did because everybody loved Alex.
Yeah.
Personally, everybody I ever talked to did not like Sophia Franklin.
Yeah.
I personally thought that she was annoying.
After I found out they broke up, I know Sophia started her own podcast.
Sophia with an F.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then I listened to a few episodes of hers. And it was kind of just like the exact same as what they were doing in the beginning when they started the podcast.
Yeah.
So she would just grab not random people, but she'd grab people and talk about the same things she used to.
Yeah. And it was her. She just seems like she has no personality. And it showed.
Yeah.
She fed off of Alex's personality, which is fine. I mean,
well, we'll get into that
it
too.
happens, but yeah. So they created it and they get going. They created 4 episodes. They were filled with details of the two girls' dating lives and experiences, but they also advised other young women, and perhaps most importantly of all, it was hilarious. Like we mentioned before, Alex wasn't new to the world of content creating and social media. Cooper already had her own YouTube channel where she vlogged daily adventures, dating fails, and other funny stuff. But the college grad's personal account hadn't quite taken off. Naturally, it's hard to make it on YouTube. Yeah. But Call Her Daddy, that was a whole different story. There was nearly an instant response to Alex and Sophia's hysterical podcast. People loved their candid talk and shameless attitude. Maybe the two podcast hosts had an inkling that they were about to embark on a wild ride. It didn't take long for the podcast to be noticed by a popular brand, Barstool Sports. Barstool founder Dave Portnoy slid into my DMs, Alex shared on a YouTube video. I just knew him in the social scenes of New York City. So she went to meet with Portnoy and at the media company Barstool. I went to this in quotes. I went to Barstool alone by myself for a few meetings, and they went great. Dave and I talked about, coming with Call Her Daddy, me vlogging, and also just like coming as a personality and doing things at Barstool. But was Portnoy interested in both her and Sophia? He was. Thankfully, Dave wanted all of the podcast gang. So Alex said, I told him Call Her Daddy is Sophia and I, and he was like, great, can't wait to meet her, bring her along, let's do this damn thing. Awesome. and so the two friends turned business partners signed a 3-year deal with Barstool Sports. And things took off quickly. The podcast literally blew up. And soon the Call Her Daddy hosts wanted more moolah. In our original contract, it stated that at the end of each year, they were able to renegotiate their compensation. This is...
I'm about to get into the drama.
I feel like
the beginning of the drama.
Besides the hate that they get or got for what they talked about, and I feel like this was kind of like the only drama that Alex Cooper has really been in. And the TikTok stuff.
That was like later too, but
like that was
in the
so
beginning,
minuscule.
like this stuff was
really, it was. I feel like they would kind of just talk, like people would just hate about how like
even if I don't think it was really
she was.
Yeah, I don't think it was really Alex. I think it was just like she was trying to support her brand.
Yeah,
and then it came to
mean, you have to be pretty confident to talk about what she talks about online.
Yeah, I agree.
Like your parents are. I don't know. Should we take a quick break before we get into it?
Let's take a quick break.
Okay,
and then we'll get into the drama.
She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance. I met her on Grafton Street, right outside of the bar. She shared a cigarette with me while her brother played the guitar. She asked me, what does it mean? The Gaelic ink on your arm. Said it was one of my friend's songs. Do you want to drink on? She took Jamie as a chaser, Jack for the fun. She got Arthur on the table with Johnny riding a shotgun. Chatted some more, one more drink at the bar. Then put Van on the jukebox, got up to dance. You know she played her fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance with my pretty little Galway girl. You're my pretty little Galway girl. You know she beat me at darts and then she beat me at pool, and then she kissed me like there was nobody else in the room. As last orders were called was when she stood on the stool after dancing to Kaylee singing to trad tunes. I never heard Carrick Fergus ever sung so sweet. A cappella in the bar using her feet for a beat. Oh, I could have that voice playing on repeat for a week. And in this packed out room where she was singing to me. You know she played her fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance, my pretty little Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl. Well, now we all said our welcome and it's closing time. I was holding her hand was holding mine. Our coats both smell of smoke, whiskey and wine. We fill up her lungs with the cold air of the night. I walked her home, then she took me inside. Finished some Doritos and another bottle of wine. I swear I'm gonna put you in a song that I write about a Galway girl and a perfect night. She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance, my pretty little Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl.
All right, we're back. Getting into the drama. Let's go.
Sponsored by Starbucks.
So, when Alex and wow, I feel like I just yelled right into the microphone. When Alex and Sophia initially signed the contract, it was a 3-year deal that paid them each $75,000 for the first year, $85,000 for the second, and $100,000 the third. As the Call Her Daddy podcast became a whole brand, including merchandise and more, the hosts got a raise. The business partners eventually realized that even with the raises, Barstool Sports was not paying them what they felt like the podcast was worth.
Yeah.
After all, the brand was now making significantly more money off of Call Her Daddy than expected. And that's when the drama starts. So at the time, Sophia had a boyfriend named Peter. Peter was a lawyer.
Of course.
And the friends turned to him for advice, naturally. Sophia and I allowed Peter to essentially take the reins, Alex explains. Franklin's beau helped them understand that they were making significantly less than industry standards. That quote is like if you go back on the timelines, like interviews with Dave Portnoy, he's like, they kept saying they were making significantly less than industry standards. Like, and this guy, Pete, screwed them over. I think.
Really?
I think he screwed them.
Why?
I think he screwed Sophia and Alex's friendship over.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. If he wasn't involved, they could still be friends.
They probably could still be friends, and then they could probably come to maybe not stay with Barstool and like go somewhere else, but like I don't know.
But
he
maybe that happened for the best.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I already went with that. So, with the help of Peter, Alex and Sophia put together a list of demands for Barstool Sports. Amongst the requests were, of course, raises for both of them, but the company rejected their demands. Fans were left confused when Call Her Daddy posted an episode titled Kesha, The End, before going AWOL. After Barstool Sports had a big no to their demands, Alex and Sophia took Call Her Daddy content elsewhere. The friends were technically still bound to Barstool Sports, but they wanted to see what other companies would pay for their hilarious podcast. And it turned out others would give them the big bucks. After informing Barstool Sports of the competing offers, Dave Portnoy asked to have another meeting. He agreed to pay Alex and Sophia each $500 annual, a $500 annual, $500, wow. Give me a second.
$500,000.
Yeah.
Annual salary.
Couldn't get that one out. Plus bonuses and 6 months off the original 3-year contract. And that's when the friendship began to fall apart.
So, Alex was ecstatic as the girls left the meeting. She was happy to stay at Barstool Sports as long as they were paid a fair salary, but her partner felt differently. Sophia was like, I personally don't think that meeting changed anything. I still feel the same as when we went in, Cooper said. Alex was shocked. The podcast host didn't realize she and her partner in crime were on such different pages. Sophia still wanted to shop around at other brands and find better deals, so Cooper agreed to wait a bit before giving Barstool an answer. But Alex ultimately decided she wanted to stay loyal to Barstool Sports. Unfortunately, Sophia did not. At that point, past secrets bubbled up that tore the friendship apart. Franklin was hurt after learning that Cooper had previously been given a higher raise from the company. See,
okay.
How did that even come out? How'd you even find that out?
I don't remember how she found out. They probably said it, like had to come clean and say that like Alex was getting X amount of money over Sophia, but Sophia wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
Alex was editing, writing the script, coming up with the content, and Sophia was just like,
just sitting there, just like, okay, like I'll go in with you.
Like it just, if she was doing more, that was the whole thing. Like I think it was in Alex's single father episode when she like came back from all this stuff. She said like, I got more money because I did more work.
And doesn't it tell a story about that too?
Yeah.
So Alex claimed that Sophia had long been uncomfortable because Cooper did more work on the podcast, so she hid the raise. I would just be editing late at night, and I would take a Snapchat and posted it, Alex shared. According to her, Franklin didn't like that and started to take credit for the editing. They soon went their separate ways. To end all of this drama, Alex took the deal with Barstool Sports and became a one-woman show, or a single father, as she likes to call herself. The popular host was back online in late May of 2020, with a round of different friends helping keep the podcast spicy.
We're coming up on 2 years of her being alone.
That's wild. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years.
I think she lives in LA now.
Yeah.
She left the city. She has a boyfriend, which I think we talk about.
Yep.
She also has a dog, which they didn't talk about at all in anything I read. Her dog is so cute. She's all over her Instagram. And yeah. So Cooper came back with a bang. In August, she met up with a total icon for a special episode of Call Her Daddy, Miley Cyrus. But as Alex moved on, it turned out it wasn't really the end of all the drama. Sophia had one more thing to say, and it wasn't pretty.
Oh.
Well, Alex carried on. The drama followed her. Attention was back on the feud between the former besties when Sophia spoke out. I don't really know how a friendship breakup feels, and part of the reason why is I realized later that this person was never my friend.
Dun dun dun.
I think I was completely just used as a vessel to get famous. She had no social status. Sorry. She saw me, thought I was funny, and thought we had good chemistry. I confused that with a friendship, and it really was just a business ploy on her end. Soon, Franklin wasn't the only one speaking out against Alex. Listen, I think that this, she just turned, you could be friends with someone and then be like, we should start a business together.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And still be friends. Sophia Franklin is crazy.
But also, didn't Barstool go to Alex about this? And Alex was like, oh, but my friend.
She said she kept bringing Sophia back. She said, this is who I'm with. Like, if you want me, you're going to take her too.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're not coming here.
Exactly.
So, personally, if I didn't want to be friends with somebody, but they were good for a podcast, I wouldn't really care if they were there or not. I would be like, oh, so you want me? And then kind of not bring it up. That's someone that wouldn't be friends. That's not a friend. That's a business person. Alex was friends with Sophia.
Yeah.
And I think Sophia wasn't friends with Alex, but that's whatever.
So, the truth is, there's hardly ever a lack of influencer feuds in the TikTok era. But still, Cooper having beef with Sway House was one scandal we did not see coming. It all began when the wildly popular podcast host was a guest on Josh Richards and David Portnoy's BFF's podcast in November of 2020. I actually did hear about this beforehand. So, the 27-year-old was asked to rank the Sway boys. Cooper prefaced the rankings by assuring the audience that all of the boys were too young for her taste. But things got interesting when she exposed Griffin Johnson for shooting his shot on the gram.
Real quick. Griffin used to date Dixie, right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So Alex revealed that Griffin previously slid into her DMs. Confirmed that I did slide into @Alexandra Cooper's DMs. It was a failed mission, Johnson later tweeted. Cooper also had a fair share of critiques for the rest of the boys, but two in particular, Bryce Hall and Blake Gray, didn't exactly take theirs with a grain of salt. Alex advised Blake that his then bleached hair look was not working for him, while also claiming that Gray's girlfriend, Emile Zilber, slid into Cooper's DMs for advice on the couple's relationship. When the TikTok star took to Twitter and claimed he had no idea who the Barstool Sports host was, things got even messier.
That's funny.
After Cooper told, she's really roasting him too.
I'm sorry, but I know this isn't about Blake Gray, but I could. Back when I was in my MagCon phase, big 2016, I thought Blake Gray was so cute.
I think I did too when he was younger.
Yeah, he had that just classic white boy look.
Yep.
That was just like, give me nothing and I'll love it, But I mean, she's not wrong. His hair looked terrible.
It's the way that she was like, ask your girlfriend. Like, she literally asked me for advice on your relationship.
Yeah. And how can you say that he doesn't know who she is?
Yeah, right.
You're on you're a social media person.
You're literally being interviewed.
I could see my mom being like, I don't think I know who that is because my mom's 50 and isn't on social media.
My mom's around the same age, and I think she would know. She'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that girl." Like, she wouldn't know much about her, but she knows her name.
She would say the blonde girl that does the show on Barstool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alex also said that she wasn't fond of Bryce's look. even comparing him to a certain sloth from Ice Age, which Josh referred to as an ego check for Hall. While Josh laughed along in good fun, Bryce didn't think her comments were all that funny. Imagine the roles were switched and we roasted her appearance, he pointed out. After Alex shook the online world with her ruthless ranking of the Sway House boys, more footage was leaked from the same interview where the influencer claimed that Dixie D'Amelio and Noah Beck's relationship was for clout.
I remember this.
I just don't like when people fake relationship for the internet, Cooper said.
I do remember this. This was, I feel like, when the D'Amelio family was like in hot water. Like everybody was just coming through it for the thrones.
I feel like everyone was just going for
Charlie
Noah's and Charlie.
Yeah.
Like
And
them being together.
I also think Dixie and Noah's relationship was fake.
Really?
I did. I still kind of do. But like at the same time, you're with those people all the time. Like it's bound to happen. They start to have feelings for someone and then date them. But yeah, definitely when they first started dating, I thought it was fake.
The only reason I thought it was fake was because it was for TikTok. Like they were doing it in order to get more views.
And
more
also
shares.
she went from Griffin to Noah and I guess Sway House and Hype House are like rival houses.
Oops.
Sorry. It's just funny to say like
Sway House.
Are you team Sway?
You team Hype. Okay. So Dixie and Noah responded in the best way they know how with a TikTok duet. The couple
wait. So I don't know if you know anything about this, but one of the actresses on Glee, like people think that she doesn't know how to read, and like, it's just a stupid joke on TikTok. But I feel like Dixie doesn't speak.
Really?
Like she doesn't know how to talk. I feel like they're mute. Like they don't speak. Her and Charlie.
I really don't think I've ever seen like an actual video of them talking.
Oh, I have. It sounds like I say, like it's like so guys today. It's like very monotoned and like drawn out. So she does know how to talk.
Yeah,
but like I just feel like she doesn't
know how to use.
Like she doesn't know how to like get people to listen to her.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She can make noises come out of her mouth, but it doesn't make sense. It's like, what are you saying?
It's like
so you use
make words. Words.
Good.
So the couple was seen on D'Amelio's bed. Beck was wearing under-eye patches, casual, and both the influencers visibly rolled their eyes in front of the camera. We guess sometimes actions speak louder than words.
That's what I mean.
You can like have like a response video, just like
be like, we're not doing this for clout, and then that's it.
No, they had to roll their eyes.
Roll their eyes with under eye patches on.
Okay.
Cute. A few months after beef broke out between Alex and the Sway House, the 27-year-old was back on BFFs with Dave Portnoy and Josh Richards. And boy, oh boy, did she spill some tea. In April of 2021, Father Cooper admitted to a brief fling with Logan Paul.
Oof.
I can't believe we didn't talk about Logan Paul.
Oof.
Piping hot, right?
Next year.
Well, according to Alex, not so much. The Call Her Daddy host said the romance was short and the duo didn't go all the way. Oh, okay. We were going to keep it to ourselves, and Logan Paul is really bad at keeping a secret, Cooper explained. So Logan Paul spilled the beans, and Alex embraced it by letting the fans know the truth from her own mouth. As it turned out, a quick fling with a fellow influencer wasn't the only thing Cooper wanted to be kept under wraps. The host, known for dating multiple people at a time, had settled down. She admitted she fell for someone, but the single father wouldn't be sharing his identity. Popular for exploiting all the details of her own dating life, this was one thing Alex didn't want to share. She says, "I'm keeping him private." What fans learned next sent them into a whirlwind. As it turned out, Alex was making moves in her romance life and business ventures. The podcast host was back in the limelight when news broke over a massive contract. Cooper signed a whopping $60 million deal with none other than audio streaming and media company Spotify. It was official. After a wild and dramatic ride with Barstool Sports, Alex would be moving to Spotify come July 2021. It was nothing shady. The host contract with Call Her Daddy's first home would be finished by then, and she was free to move on. But with that new contract came many other changes. Should we take a quick break before we go into what the changes were?
Also, Khalid just came out with a new song, so enjoy it.
Setting light for such a beautiful world. We're so high, I'm with you, hypnotized. I'm in such a beautiful world. It's like I'm living my dream. Feels like we're running this skyline, slowly just to remember. I swear it feels real when you take my hand in the passenger side. Doing this day and night, we're running out of time. Won't you take my hand into my skyline, slowly just to remember. I swear it feels real when you take my hand in the passenger side. Leave it on in our review. As you pass the finish line, just you and I, racing on to the green light. Intensify, lately I feel so alive. Beautiful world. It's like I'm living my dream. Feels like we're running this day out. Skyline, slowly just to remember. I swear it feels real when you take my hand in the passenger side. Tuesday night, running out of time. Won't you take my hand into my skyline, slowly just to remember. I swear it feels real when you
All right, we were just looking at some fashion show things from Angelina's fashion show this weekend.
Yep.
So we left off $60 million contract
Wild.
on Spotify. Wow. Wow.
Like, she grew so much. I'm so proud of her.
And the photo shoot, I don't know if it was the diamond dress where she looks like Paris Hilton. I love those photos. I just love everything about it. I love the dress. I love that they're like doing her makeup in some of them.
Yeah.
It just, oh my God, I love it. I could just,
eat it up.
You know when something's just so good?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Oh,
so
it.
At this time, Alex arguably became an A-lister in the world of influencers and vloggers. But this new deal with Spotify took her status and bank account to the next level. According to Celebrity Net Worth, at the time of this article's writing, Cooper had a net worth of roughly $10 million.
Imagine.
Wow. She also made history. The Call Her Daddy's host $60 million deal with Spotify was reportedly the biggest exclusive deal for a woman-led podcast in history at the time of signing. So what exactly did Cooper do with all this newfound financial success? For starters, Alex's success with Call Her Daddy led her from the Big Apple to the City of Angels, and a bomb new flat filled with gorgeous decor. And a new apartment.
Yeah.
It seemed that Cooper was living the life and came a long way from the unemployed city gal. But the Spotify deal meant more than just more money. Cooper says, I'm incredibly thankful for everyone who has supported, helped, and been a part of Call Her Daddy. From its start 3 years ago, the show has always been about challenging the status quo and manifesting conversations that previously only happened behind closed doors. But of course, there were always haters.
I can't believe that quote really like stirred up drama.
What? Challenging the status quo?
Yeah. Because when you think about it and you think about what she's talked about in her podcast.
Yeah, you never would talk about that in public.
Exactly.
Or on a platform. So
and then
explicitly.
also even just the name, Call Her Daddy.
Yeah.
That is so challenging the status quo.
Hi, Harry. Oh, God. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I do believe that. Yeah, no one. Sorry, I might need a second. This is cute. It's the challenging status quo. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. No one was talking about this stuff. And when people would talk about it, you were like beating around the bush, like, oh well, you know. And it's like, no, I don't. Like, tell me, what are you trying to say? And Alex Cooper just said it.
Did you watch the first season of Bridgerton?
I have not. My mom has, but
well, like the main character is like, I don't understand, and the guy's like, they don't tell you anything, and she's like, no, and he was like, oh.
And I feel like the public education system. I don't know how your health class was, but mine was not great.
Literally, I remember 7th grade.
Not saying that this should be a health class, but like the conversations that she had were something that people needed to be okay talking about.
Yeah, I don't think.
Do I need to know about how someone? No. But there's other things like how to handle a relationship or like how to handle being exposed to something. And it's like, what? Didn't even learn about that. Didn't think about that.
That can happen?
Yeah. And also like the whole girl thing. Like that was also like a lesson for everybody watching. Like you can't always trust someone that you think is your best friend.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But like Sophia Franklin stabbed her in the back.
Mm-hmm.
As much as she tried to say Alex did, I think Sophia Franklin 100% stabbed her in the back and is still holding a grudge with Alex.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I think if Sophia Franklin didn't have a grudge, she wouldn't have this podcast.
She wouldn't have
Sophia with an F.
Yeah. Or it would be something different.
Like she wouldn't be trying to Call Her Daddy times 2.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be trying to replicate it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, be original.
It's hard for you, Sophia. We know. We saw that.
We know.
Oh my God. I remember, I think it was they posted a picture in Texas together at the bar. And Alex looked so good. And Sophia just did not look. I was like, damn.
That sucks.
That sucks.
All right. So.
Go ahead.
Well, Alex viewed Call Her Daddy as challenging the status quo. Others disagreed. Some listeners, who probably didn't stick around for long, didn't think the podcast content was empowering for women and questioned its home at Barstool Sports, a company dominated by men.
So
I think this is why they needed Call Her Daddy.
Well, the thing that people were saying online was that it was like internalized misogyny and that everything they said was to like be better for men. But like that wasn't the case.
If you think about it, it's also kind of better for men if you listen to her podcast.
Yeah, but like it's it was like they're saying how to be better for men, but it was like how men could also be better.
Mm-hmm.
If you really listen. Like, okay, obviously some of the stuff was very explicit for women, but there was also some things that were for men, and
like it also touches on relationships. It touches on how to deal with daily life that like you wouldn't be expecting almost.
Yeah. But people just hate on everything.
Yeah. So, Cooper disagreed. For people that don't know what Call Her Daddy means, the word daddy is like, you're a boss. You're in control of your life. She said during one of her during one of the episodes, we are saying, no, girls can be daddy too. Men can be daddy too. But it definitely looked like the lovers outweighed the haters. At the time of this article's writing, the Call Her Daddy Gram page had nearly 2 million followers. Father Cooper's has more than 2 million. And with the Spotify deal under the belt, we bet she's just getting started. From a Pennsylvania childhood to an LA resident, causing waves and drama in the influencer community, Cooper has seen a lot since her rise to internet fame, and we can't wait to see what else she brings. We bet the Call Her Daddy's host time in Cali will be nothing short of entertaining. Now she'll get all those LA residents in on her podcast too.
I feel like she did Amanda Knox.
Yeah.
You remember see that one? She talked to her. She talked to Miley Cyrus. She did interview with Lana Rhoades.
I saw it on TikTok. She interviewed someone who got married at 16 and was a child predator. I don't know. I don't remember, but it was interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
She also interviewed what's her name? I was Josh Safdie's muse when I wrote on Julia Fox.
Yes, yeah. I remember that one.
Yep, that's going back to Kanye. Wow. Alex Cooper, what a
queen.
I mean,
did you see the what she posted in the pink dress
on Instagram?
Yeah, I think that was cute.
Yeah. Is that all we have?
Yeah.
Is this how we're ending our last one?
When she interviewed Inventing Anna. Did you see that show?
Yes.
Entertaining.
Oh my god, she did so many.
But overall, really good person. I like her stuff.
I do too. I mean, I'll never be like, oh, mom, listen to this. But yeah. I think what she has accomplished and taking what she talks about out of it, what she has done is inspiring, I think, for both of us. Because that's what I want to do. I basically want to be Alex Cooper. So
yeah, she's definitely inspiration on what girls can do in the future. So it's really cool how she's completely rebuilt this up. Yes.
Yeah.
And just you can tell she was obviously very smart and very dedicated, very special. When Boston University, D1 athlete.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Boston University is hard to get into.
Oh, I know. Literally, no one gets in.
It's
very, very slim.
What's their percent acceptance rate? Do you know?
Probably low.
I feel like it's not 6%, but it was very, very low. Because it's not an Ivy. It's in the Patriot League.
It might be 10%.
So they're with Colgate. Who else in the Patriot League? I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah. Until next year, I guess.
Until next year.
Yeah, I don't think we're coming back next week. So until next year.
Good luck to all students on finals.
We've been influenced.
We've been influenced.